Representative Echeverria rise.
To debate the bill.
Gentleman is recognized to debate the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That is the Second Amendment. It was ratified on December 15th, 1791, as a part of the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. They are of extreme importance to our continued freedom. Those amendments guarantee fundamental rights such as the freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly, and petition. They limit excessive government control, including protections against unreasonable searches and seizure and cruel and unusual punishments. They establish due process, fair trials, protections against self-incrimination. They reserve power to the states and the people. The framers of the Constitution believed that armed American citizens are essential to preventing tyranny and protecting our liberties. I support Senate Bill 50. In fact, I'm a primary sponsor of SB50, which was a constitutional carry bill filed by Representative Kidwell. This bill further ensures that Carolinians can exercise their Second Amendment rights, which include both owning and carrying firearms. The absolute language of shall not be infringed in our Constitution is the strongest prohibition on earth against any government action that would limit this right. Now, those who oppose this bill will mention a few statistics, but I want to share the single most important statistic that this bill addresses. However, before I share that statistic, I want to mention the people this bill does not cover. Seeing that rights to keep and bear arms are constitutionally inseparable. If a person cannot own a firearm, they cannot bear a firearm. So this bill does not make North Carolina more dangerous. So who is not covered by this bill? The people who cannot legally own a gun, felons. Individuals convicted of a felony are generally prohibited from owning a firearm. Individuals with misdemeanor convictions involving domestic violence are prohibited from owning firearms. Those subject to a court order restraining them from harassing, stalking, or threatening an intimate partner or child are prohibited from owning a firearm. Individuals adjudicated as mentally ill or who have been committed to a mental institution are prohibited from owning a firearm. Illegal aliens are prohibited from owning a firearm. Individuals who have received a dishonorable discharge from the armed forces are barred from owning a firearm. Those who have renounced their U.S. citizenship are prohibited from owning firearms. Persons who are fugitives from justice cannot own a firearm. Those who are unlawful users of or addicted to any controlled substance are prohibited from owning a firearm. North Carolina law prohibits individuals convicted of certain alcohol-related offenses like habitual impaired driving from owning firearms. Those with a pending felony or certain misdemeanor charges involving domestic violence can be temporarily barred from owning a firearm. So not often here do we debate the actual subject. The subject here is carrying a firearm. Nothing in this bill changes anything for those without the right or who have lost the right to own or purchase a firearm. Those we know are dangerous are not empowered by this bill one iota. Now, opponents of the bill will tell stories that horrify and should horrify everyone. They will cite studies and statistics by organizations that support their position. They will share absolutely heartbreaking events. However, they won't mention that about half of North Carolina homes have a firearm, or that minority gun ownership is at an all-time high. I would bet everything that Jim Crow would love for minorities to have to ask for permission to purchase or carry their firearm. But Jim Crow is not the law anymore. However, the statistic they will never mention is the statistical fact, the undisputable fact that 100% of law-abiding U.S. citizens have the right to keep and bear arms. That is the statistic that matters most today. 100%. 100% of law-abiding citizens have the right to keep and bear arms, and that right shall not be infringed. So I hope that today we stand with and we defend the 100% of U.S. law-abiding citizens. Today has less to do with our opinions and more to do with about this is a right that we have in this nation. I ask for you to vote yes on this bill.